easy go.
Okay, let's start it. Welcome to the BitMart and Cipholio first, the Accelerator Demo Day. Thank you so much for everyone to come and joining us this morning. And I am Victoria, the VP of BD at BitMart and also Cipholio Venture, and also the director of this program. So this is absolutely my pleasure to host our today's Demo Day and our dedicated Accelerator program through a unique DAO structure, investing the best Web3 project globally. So we are hoping to, through our program, to connecting the best VCs and also the best project teams all together. So let's go through today's agenda. So we will have, we invited 8 panelists, and they are industry experts, experienced Web3 contributors, and also serious successful entrepreneurials. So at the same time, we invited 6 excellent projects to join us today on the other end. So first, before we officially start, let me introduce our special guest, Kai Ming, and he is our chief business officer and also the venture partners from Cipholio Venture. Welcome, Kai Ming.
Thank you, V. Yeah, so basically, I think I'll try to give a simple and fast. So we really want to thank you, to take this chance to join our first batch of the demo day. I think it's a pretty remarkable as of the first time of hosting this. Hope we can bring the excellent experience to all the participants. Our Cipholio is always being a technical and research-driven VC industry. By having our own unique niche and connections, we help bring the uniqueness to our portfolio and networks. And thank you very much for being a part of this legit network. As of the first batch, we have been working pretty hard to discover all those good projects and teams from the market, and being reasonably selective as well. In order to arrange this total duration of the demo day, we only do a select for 6 out of the total pool to present this moment. And what next batch is coming on November as well. So stay tuned. Hopefully, we can finish that before the holidays. Web3 holiday entities or the projects are usually market neutral, hoping we are able to continuously bring a good opportunity to our clan, as long as good lucks to our portfolios, to our VC, and our beloved judges. Thank you again for being with us for the next 2-hour session. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaime. And coming next, I would like to introduce our amazing panelists today. And next please. The first will be Jimmy, the portfolio manager directors at Cipholio Venture. Matthew, the executive operations, corporate development, and venture manager at Falcon X. And next is Bella, the investment manager at Fimbush Capital. Jacob, the client relationship manager at Galaxy. Ty, head of investment and research at Outlier Fund. Kenny, senior investment analyst at Cardano Urugo Venture. Maria, head of gaming and metaverse at Republic Crypto. And last but not least, Alan, the co-founder at Secure3. And so thank you again for joining us. And we really appreciate all of your efforts to make this happen. So before we kick it off, and I want to address a few house rules for our first demo day. For each presentation for each project teams will be 10 minutes, and we will have 10 more minutes for Q&A sessions. You are free to ask any questions in the Q&A box, and our teams will check the questions constantly. So the total duration of this entire demo day will be 2 hours. And please change your names to the project names and also yourself, so we'll be able to know who you are. And also at the very end, please don't forget to fill out the survey. Okay, let's start. The first presenter I have is Eric from C14. He's the founder and the CEO. And C14 provides easy access to digital asset with the badge that's convert traditional fiat currencies to cryptocurrency. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Victoria. Apologies, everybody. My camera's not working today, which is a shame because I actually combed my hair for this. So I look good, but you just can't see me. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. So I founded C14 in March of this year and I wanted to build a better fiat to crypto on-ramp experience. We have three pillars that we're trying to solve for. We want to make fiat on-ramps available for newer assets and ecosystems earlier in the life cycle of these ecosystems. Right now, it's very hard to get ramp support until your chain, your token, your ecosystem, whatever it may be, gets very large. So we aim to integrate earlier in the life cycle to help these projects grow. The second thing we want to solve for is geographic expansion. Right now, most fiat ramp companies are very focused on cards, which is important, but that kind of limits you to the United States and the European Union. If you look at credit and debit card penetration rates globally, there's only maybe 18 countries where more than half of the population has access to a credit or debit card. So if you want truly global reach, you have to be looking beyond cards. You have to be looking at alternative payment methods, bank transfers, methods like that. And then the third pillar we wanted to solve was a better experience for the partners that are hosting our widget. We generate a tremendous amount of data when we're doing a ramp transaction, and we believe that by serving that data to our partners in innovative ways, we can help them with their conversion rate and overall client experience. So next slide, please. We're starting with cards in domestically in the United States. You can see the desktop and mobile version of our widget now. So it's only 5 screens. It's a very quick process. Put your name in. We create an account based around your phone number. That's the unique identifier. You go through a very quick KYC process. We collect the payment information, and then you confirm the transaction, and the assets are delivered to the wallet address that you put in at the beginning of the transaction. We'll be going live in 11 states here to start. We have approval from 2 processors and 2 banks, so we'll likely be switching this on by the end of this week for like a limited test version. And we're supporting the Harmony and Evmos chains to start, but we'll be adding new chains quickly after that. Next screen, please. Like I said, right now we started with the US. It's obviously an important market. It's where a lot of projects want to start. So we'll be launching that soon. We're building our Latin American rails now. So in a couple weeks, we'll be doing testing on Pix in Brazil. So we'll allow Brazilians to go from their Pix account directly to crypto. Pix is a very intuitive system. So we're really excited to launch that. We think that's going to open a lot of doors. We'll be doing Pix, then SPAY in Mexico, and Mexican cards, and then we'll be doing EU coverage for cards and SEPA. And that's what we're looking to end the year with. And then in 2023, we want to keep adding more and more ramps, more and more coverage in emerging markets and geographies. Next slide, please. It's a pretty simple solution. Partners register with us. They host the widget on their site, on their DApp, whatever it may be. We're non-custodial, so when the user completes the purchase, whatever asset they bought just lands directly in their wallet on that application. That gets us, that has important ramifications for money transmission laws and where we sort of sit in the regulatory pyramid. So it's a very regulatory light touch system, very easy to onboard, and we'll be looking to onboard the first couple partners soon. Next slide. Our go-to-market here is we're looking for new chains to partner with. We'll build support for those assets, whatever those assets may be, and we can help them grow earlier on in their life cycle. We've got a fairly long list of committed chains and projects now that we'll be servicing. So once we turn the cards on, we'll just be adding support for all these chains, and then those chains will help us get our widget onto the projects built on top of those chains. So that's our go-to-market for the next 6 months. We ask for a listing fee to help bootstrap liquidity. Obviously, we're small, so we want to sort of think about our balance sheet in a rational way. And then we just ask for marketing support. So we think it's a low ask for our partners, and so far the market reception has been pretty good. Next slide, please. this is our contact information. Like I said, like Victoria said, I founded it. I'm the CEO. Kushi's my chief of staff, and she's helping me sort of organize everything. And we'd love to hear from you. I'm not sure if I did way too short or way too long. I wasn't really keeping track of the time, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Eric, for giving us the short introductions. It's very clean, and also I think the platform itself is pretty easy to use. And since we still have a few minutes left, and I think could you share a little bit more about your whole team? Like how many teams you currently have, and besides you two, there anybody else has been helping you guys to build the entire product?
Yeah, absolutely. I should have covered that in my presentation. There's the two of us, and then we've got 4 engineers that are working on building out the different functions of the widget. Our team is globally dispersed, so we have an engineer in London, engineer in Argentina, engineer in India, engineer in Russia. We have a gentleman named Chris Plurd who was working at WorldPay before this, who's helping me on the operational side of things. Standing up these relationships is a lot of work, and he brings a lot of valuable expertise to the project, and he's been very helpful there. And then finally, we have Patrick, who is managing marketing, business development, sales, really all of the downstream relationships from the project.
Thank you for adding all of this amazing information. So I think like there's some interest from our panelists as well. So Matthew from Falcon X, do you want to bring this up?
Absolutely. Thank you, Victoria, and thank you, Eric, for that presentation. Super simple and comprehensive. First question for you is, what is the background process of swapping fiat into crypto native tokens? What does that fee slippage look like for the user? And what's the background process that happens underneath?
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the payment method that you're using. But if we're using cards to start, the card networks, Visa and MasterCard, have classification codes for everything you buy. So when we're running a transaction through the system, our processor, Visa, the banks, what they see is that someone is buying, $100 worth of crypto, right? But they don't see the underlying asset. So they don't know if that's Bitcoin or Ether or what, right? So for the traditional financial players that sort of are in the background for all this, they just see crypto transactions. They don't see what it is, right? So we're receiving funds on a regular basis from them, and then we're just dispersing the asset at the end of it. So it's sort of asset agnostic in that sense. We hold liquidity in all the assets that we sell. And given that we're focused on newer and lighter chains, we're able to hold a relatively small amount of inventory and resupply relatively continuously, which is harder to do with like Ethereum, right? Because you have to do bigger inventory restocks to amortize the transaction costs out. So we hold small amounts, and we regularly just send it out as the transactions go through. We are taking a little bit of market risk there because we're holding them, but again, it's small, and obviously over the long term, we believe the market will go up. So I think that'll actually work in our favor. And yeah, we just as soon as we get a confirmation from the processor that a transaction is successful, we just send it out from our inventory to the wallet address that came in at the beginning. So pretty straightforward. There's a lot of room to optimize that later on, but for an MVP, I feel like that's pretty good.
Awesome, thank you. And just to confirm there, so are users directly swapping with you, or is that getting routed through like a decentralized exchange?
Right now that we're the counterparty.
Got it.
Users are swapping with us.
Awesome. Another question that I have, wondering how the kind of conversations with websites, dApps, and wallets been. Has there been kind of high growth and interest in those conversations? And are you kind of taking those fees?
There's been a lot of interest. We're talking with maybe like 15 chains. They're all pretty excited about it. they're frequently the ones calling us, and they've been patient with us as we've like worked our way through the regulatory approval process. So there's a lot of sort of latent demand there. I feel like there's still very green field. I'm not particularly worried about that over the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months. Yeah, it's been very positive so far.
Awesome. And then last question from me. So I understand that you're currently integrated with Cardano and a few other chains. Wondering kind of what the timeline is for adding other chains and how you're thinking about kind of expanding to the cross-chain capabilities.
Adding new chains is relatively straightforward. You know, for EVM compatible chains, I think we could add a new chain in, you know, an afternoon, right? Because you're basically just cloning like a wallet essentially. There are chains that obviously are not EVM compatible. Those will take a little bit longer, but it's not a particularly long process, right? You're setting up a wallet and you're broadcasting a transaction to the network. So it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, we're not going to be doing them like, you know, if it takes 4 hours, we're not going to be doing 5 a day, right? We're going to want to test and like make sure things work. But that's not a significant roadblock to expansion. I think the bigger challenge is making sure that as we integrate these new payment methods, we're keeping an intuitive flow as you move into, you know, new geographies. There's like little variations in how each country's banking system works, and making sure that we're capturing that data correctly and safely is I think a bigger challenge for us than new chain integrations.
Very helpful. Thanks for that.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. And I have another one from Fenbushi, Bella.
Hi, Matthew. Quick question. Just wondering, what's the like a KYC, I guess, information you will collect from the user right now? Like, what's going to be like the KYC process going to be alive?
Yeah, it's country dependent. In the United States, we have to do the document collection and liveness check. That's not a legal requirement. That's a requirement that has come down from the card networks themselves. So it's a little bit of like an interesting area where there's different sort of regulatory challenges you have to solve for, and they're not all like from the government, if that makes sense.
Yes.
When we get abroad, so like in Brazil, we won't have to collect, you know, a passport or an ID card, right? It can all be fields. And the reason for that is because Pix doesn't have a chargeback system, so it's a much lower like fraud vector than credit cards. So in the US, it'll be the most stringent, but as we move out, you'll be looking at easier and easier KYC.
Gotcha. Another question is quite similar with the one you got before. Is wanting the timeline, I guess, more accurate to, I guess, season or month, that when the KYC system will be alive, when the website will be fully functioned, like the more beta version for the user.
Yeah. So right now, the widget is fully functional on a test environment. Everything is real except for the actual card information that you submit. That's a test card. We built the MVP on top of checkout.com. We just need to swap in our production keys at this point, and turn it on. So we'll probably be turning it on, I don't know, maybe like Thursday of this week.
Gotcha. And I guess any other big changes in the coming, I guess, the rest of the year or early of next year?
You know, we have our MSB license in the United States. I will get it's called the foreign MSB license in Canada. I should have that in a week. And we have a virtual asset service provider. It's not technically a license, but a VASP entity in the EU. So we'll be able to support any of those geographies. You know, I have like the general roadmap, which I laid out here. It's always possible that a new payment method pops up and is relatively easy to integrate, and we might just pop it in. But the roadmap is pretty accurate right now.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's all my question.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you,
Eric,
Philip.
one quick last question on my end. What's the kind of valuation and post money of current round?
So we did our pre-seed, I guess that closed in, like fully closed in May. And we raised 2.5 million on a 10 million post.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
No further questions.
Thank you, Matt. So seems like we have some attention from the audience as well. So the first question we got at, what is your uniqueness to compete with the current players, like for example, crypto exchange?
Yeah. If you look at, say, like the first kind of year out, we're really going to be focused on like Web3 projects, right? So if you have, like, let's say you're running an NFT marketplace, you have users coming to your project, they want to transact. You're paying for all those users, right? And you don't want to send them off-site. If you think about a traditional e-commerce business, right, like just an online shoe store, anybody that you send off, they're not coming back. Like a very, very small percentage of people actually return to a website after they leave it. So if you're an NFT marketplace, yeah, you can redirect someone, say, hey, go buy whatever assets you need on Coinbase. But they're not going to come back. Once they're gone, they're gone. So we think projects are going to, especially in a bear market, realize how important it is to keep the user experience in one place and not send their users out. So we view ourselves as not really a competitor to an exchange. It's a similar function, but for a very different purpose. And then over time, as we add new rails, we view ourselves as being sort of like a complementary service for an exchange, right? If you're, pick an exchange, right, and you want to expand into Brazil, well, you need a way for Brazilians to actually onboard onto your platform, and C14 gives you a way to do that. So I don't view it as a competitor. I view them as potential clients later on down the road. So yeah, sorry, I rambled a little bit there.
Got it. Thank you. Another one, and then we're going to wrap this up. So what is the regulatory kind of side of hustle you may be facing in the future?
Yeah. It really depends. If you start with the United States, crypto right now is in this very gray area. It's not, the problem is that there aren't really coherent regulations around crypto at all. So what is Solana, right? It's not a security, but what is it? And so what most people do is they try to shoehorn crypto into the existing MSB, MTL regulatory structure. We have the MSB, which imposes regulatory requirements on us in terms of filing like suspicious activity reports and letting the government know if we see anything that seems suspicious. Once you have that, you really have to go state by state and look at what the money transmission laws in the state say and whether that applies to the business. So in our case, we started with 11 states where we felt that it was very unambiguous that this was not money transmitter activity. Obviously, there's a very wide dispersion in states in terms of how big they are, how much money they have, how important they are. So the 11 states, while it's only 11 states, they're pretty big. California, Texas, Pennsylvania, Illinois. We cover most of the big cities and the big population centers. We will need to expand out. There's different strategies for doing that domestically. There is a multi-state jurisdictional scheme where you can apply and get coverage in, I think, 37 states. Many of the states have reciprocity agreements. So if you get a money transmitter license in North Dakota, South Dakota might say, well, we don't need you to get one here. we will have to put more time and energy into that, you know, in a couple months and sort of figure out how we're going to hopscotch our way to full coverage here. But it's definitely a solvable challenge. In the EU, you can get a VASP, and then that allows you to service most of the European Union market. There's some countries that want you to get registered with their national regulator. Germany is a good example, right? They want you to register with BaFin. And then Canada has an MSB scheme similar to the United States. Once you get out of those countries, though, most places don't have like a crypto licensing regime at all. So it's less a question of regulation and it's more a question of, can you find counterparties that will support your business? And we've done a pretty good job with that now, which is why we can operate in Brazil, Mexico, places like that.
Got it. Thank you. And I'm sure in the near futures, you will get a more regulated as you planned it. And also, I mean, we come from pretty similar background stories, like from our exchange perspectives. So we completely understand where you're like kind of where you are stuck in the between. But sooner or later, I believe globally, everybody has seen the potentials of the Web3 or cryptocurrencies in general. So we are pretty positive and optimism about the future as you are. So thank you very much for sharing your ideas and your projects with us. And we will have some connections for you after demo day. If you need any additional support or whatsoever, you can find our teams. Yes.
Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the great questions.
Thank you, Eric.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hi, Alex.
Just checking.
Perfect. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, I have also Alex and also his partner Maxine. So DEXILON is a fully decentralized derivative DEX and providing cost-efficient trading solutions for market makers and the end users. So welcome.
Well, thank you. We're going to be today the only one presenting. Unfortunately, Max could not join. So my name is Alex. I'm co-founder of DEXILON. My background comes from algo trading. Mostly it is in arbitrage between spot and derivatives, derivatives versus derivatives, high-frequency trading. So next slide, please. Two fundamental problems exist in the DeFi space. It is high trade cost, mostly it's because of gas and slippage, and limited scalability. Even though gas price has been significantly reduced over the last year, it is still much more expensive to trade when we compare decentralized exchanges to centralized ones. This is mostly because blockchains are slow. The slower the environment, the more expensive liquidity is, as otherwise liquidity providers would be wiped out by arbitrageurs. So liquidity providers operate like insurance sellers. There's always a premium which covers the risk, and the risk here is latency. Next slide, please. As a result, there are many projects which are developing some exotic way how to solve this problem. From our experience, there is nothing better than a fast classic limit order book based exchange, using first in, first out principle. All other variations will always be a subject to potential manipulations. Model is great for spot market, especially for less liquid trading pairs, but it can be a solution for such a speculative product like derivatives. Next slide, please. For spot, the market share of static exchanges is around 17% of the whole spot market. For derivatives, it is only about 2%. It is clear that despite a strong trend for decentralization, derivatives market lags. Most projects are trying to create an infrastructure, a middleware approach. In our view, it means ignoring the needs of the end users and passing on the hard work. So next slide, please. So how does DEXILON work? We're using a Cosmos SDK as a blockchain technology for storing assets and data. For a matching engine, DEXILON has applied an asynchronous BFT protocol, so it is not classic blockchain technology. It does not store a change of every state of an order book, so it is much more efficient. Our POC shows that the update time will be in the range of 200, 800 milliseconds, depending on a number of transactions. And we should be able to process about 10,000 transactions per second. It means that DEXILON is fast. For the retail users, it will be similar experience to centralized exchanges. DEXILON is designed to be a heaven for market makers. It is fast enough for market makers to be profitable, keeping a pretty tight spread. We have rebates for every limit order to further encourage them. There is no gas fee. Gas cost sits in a taker fee, so every request to a DEX is free of charge. No hidden costs. We are working on API in such a way that market makers would need much less requests for trading bot operation. We need all these to create a flywheel effect, as there is no better advertisement than a tight spread with a deep liquidity in an order book. So if there is liquidity, there are going to be retail users. More retail users, more volume, more profit for market makers. DEXILON does not next slide, please. DEXILON does not profit from fees directly. Takers pay makers. However, taker fee is larger than the maker, a rebate. And this difference is distributed between 4 pools. 50% of this difference is a gas fee, 20% is an Oracle payment, 20% is an insurance fund contribution, and 10% is a developer's pool contribution. Taker fee is starting from 5 basis points and could be as low as 1.5 basis points, depending on the trading volume and the amount of DEXILON token in the possession. For maker, there's always 1 basis point rebate. This is a highly competitive fee structure. So let's make a closer look. DEXILON chain validators, DEXILON works on a proof of stake principle. At the same time, we apply proof of authority. It means that information about all node operators should be public. These node operators stake their reputation as well. So we seek foundations and companies with a good reputation, predominantly our investors, to become node operators. There are going to be 16 nodes in total validating exchange operations. So it will be a very profitable business to run a node. Oracle. We are developing our own Oracle. We need Oracle data in order to receive an index price for various trading pairs. And this index is an essential data for future contract settlement and finding rate calculation. Most oracles which exist now stream data with a frequency of 20 seconds to an hour. There is no way it can fulfill our needs. Therefore, we are building our own with a sub-second update time. I'll cover this topic more a little bit later. Now, what it is important, 20% of a taker fee minus rebate is a lot. It will trigger a competition between data providers, making our Oracle truly centralized. Insurance fund. We needed to cover potential losses caused by liquidation. Naturally, there are going to be situations when users' collateral would not cover their loss, as the liquidation price may be far from margin call price. This usually happens at times of huge volatility. In order to protect users, the insurance fund will cover such losses, so other positions would not be in danger. Again, 20% is a lot. So for DEXILON, the insurance fund acts as a deflationary mechanism for its token. Developers pool for community or community treasury. In order to make DEXILON self-sustainable, a portion of the fee will be contributed in this pool, which is going to be governed by DAO mechanism. So if anyone contributes to DEXILON, he will be rewarded. DEXILON opens, next slide, please. DEXILON opens a number of profit opportunities, making it efficient organically. We do not rely on subsidizing some areas in order for a system to operate. As soon as such subsidies dry out, everything crashes. So, next slide, please. The liquidation pool. Centralized exchanges are usually outsourcing liquidation to other closed pool of market makers or liquidate positions by themselves using market orders or their own algos. As a DEX, we are making this process transparent. We are using a free market mechanism of public auction. Anybody can buy out a position with a discount to current price from DEXILON liquidation pool. Market makers love it, and retail users are safe from a flash crash scenario, as a big number of large market orders would not happen. So let's go back to oracles. So anybody can profit from becoming a data provider. Sorry?
We got 2 more minutes.
All right. So anybody can profit from becoming a data provider. For this, they should stake DEXILON token and use our software. There is a progression for staking. If a first data provider of some trading pair, you should stake as low as the equivalent of $100. Next lot is 25% higher, and so on and so on. This model ensures that there are going to be several providers, even for trading pairs with small trading volume. And the number of validators would highly unlikely exceed a few tens. The more volume, more going to be stake. The more volume, more economic incentive to stake tokens and become a provider. This means that there are going to be staked pretty much of DEXILON tokens, benefiting our investors and token holders. We're using ranking approach. The longer you stream the data, the bigger is your weight in index conduction mechanism. This mechanism designed to protect from spamming. So roadmap, the testnet is live. You can access it right now. Mainnet version 1 with a centralized matching engine is almost ready. We will release it in a few weeks' time. As soon as we go for security audit of this version, we will go for a full proper mainnet version. And the fully decentralized version of the DEXILON will be ready by the end of this year. So we are raising right now a seed round. We are raising $3 million with a $30 million valuation. We have commitments of $1 million. Maybe we've got some questions.
Thank you. I think before we actually have the questions from the panelists, could you also please share your team with us?
Yeah. My business partner, Max, who unfortunately couldn't join us today, has a good experience in investment banking. He has experience working for BNP Paribas in London in mergers and acquisitions. Another teammate, Dan, he is our co-founder. He has developed a very successful outsourcing software sourcing company. Our CTO, Alex Migunov, he has an experience working as a developer in a pretty large hedge fund in the US. And other people are mostly from our legacy business, hedge fund. Those include 2 professors of applied math in the field of text analytics and neural networks. So they are exceptionally helpful for oracles and more complicated risks part. And there are 16 people in total working for DEXILON. Mostly all of them are developers.
Got it. Thank you. So I think I have the first questions from Security 3, the co-founder, Alan. Hi, Alan.
Hey.
Yes. So I do receive the request to have some questions for the team.
Let me see. My partner is actually not on the panel. I don't have any questions for now. Sorry.
Okay, got it. No worries. And I also have Ty from Outlier Fund.
Oh yeah, hi. Thanks, Alex, for the presentation. So the first question I want to know is that because you mentioned that UIDX is actually your biggest competitor in on the slides. So I want to know that what is the difference compare you and them, and then how are you going to attract the user? And the second question is that how are you going to attract the user from the current DEX platform into your place?
Hi, thank you for the question. So first of all, DEX is the biggest competitor and the strong one. At the moment, they are working on a hybrid version, so they are semi-decentralized, and they're building a full decentralized version, which we will probably see in the near future. So in these terms, like by design, we're both applying a limit order book. We're applying this fast approach. When we compare, I mean, I should speak mostly about what kind of DEXILON DEX is going to be, because our final versions, fully decentralized, they will have many things in common. But what we provide is that first, liquidations, how we deal with liquidations, and a number of perks provide more opportunities when we compare for DivideX. So this mostly relates to user acquisition. From our experience as a hedge fund, we have like a tons of different graphs and information which combines data throughout the whole market. Most traders we seek to come to our platform, they are using TradingView, they are painting graphs using clients of support and so on. They're gathering data throughout different parts of the crypto world. We are going to create a crypto terminal where users will have accumulative data for, like, you can see a combined order book from all major exchanges. You can see the vault where the volume is concentrated. You can see the ratio between bids and asks and so on. You can find sentiment collected throughout the whole market and so on and so on. So we are will provide for free of charge many utilities which none of the any exchanges provides, and so this will be our user acquisition strategy. And this will, we believe, provide a game changer.
Okay, I understand. So, and another thing that I want to know that because you mentioned that this is the trading platform for the trader itself, because you guys are a trader and create this platform. So I want to know that in terms of token utility, how are you going to attract the professional trader or maybe the institution like you guys, like hedge fund, to use your platform? So,
because of firstly rebates, it is a very good incentive for market makers to work with. Liquidation pools, this is also a huge opportunity for any market maker, and as I said, they love this principle. On top of it, a portion of DEXILON tokens will be attributed as a reward pool, so the more users trade, the more tokens they can receive out of this pool. So 20% of the whole DEXILON tokens on the course of 7 years will be equally distributed as a reward. And especially at the beginning, this will create a further boost for market makers. We have 3 trading companies already participated, invested in DEXILON, who love it and who will support us with providing liquidity. This includes Matrix, GSR, Ledger Prime, and we are in talks with many other trading firms. So we have a common ground with them.
Okay, got it. Thanks. I have no question now.
Thank you, Ty, and thank you, Alex. I think there's another question from Jimmy from Cipholio.
Sure. So can you elaborate your cross-chain initiatives? Do you have any plan to launch on any of those L2 layers?
The thing is that DEXILON blockchain based on Cosmos is actually a cross-chain solution. So we build it in such a way that you can deposit or withdraw your money, your assets from any chain. It is very to do with event-compatible change, but we are going to further expand it to not event-compatible as well, like Solana. So our goal that you don't have any boundaries in accessing the platform. You can do it from where you want. Because I just wanted to mention that the previous speaker, what is the problem of the most DEXs is crypto to fiat approach. Because on most decentralized exchanges, you have to have your money in your MetaMask wallet, and this is already a boundary. So we are trying to eliminate them as much as possible.
Got it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jamie, and also thank you, Alex. Coming next, we have Numio, and the presenter I have is Mark, the co-founder. So Numio is an Ethereum layer 2 focused on mobile wallet, allowing users to save up to 100x on fees while trading, earning cryptos with DeFi. So Mark.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Again, my name is Mark Anstead. I'm one of the co-founders of Numio, and We are building out a mobile application so you can buy, sell, trade, and invest into crypto. But our primary focus is around Ethereum scaling. So with that, you can essentially do more with your funds on top of Ethereum and essentially do all of this through an app that's very much focused around UI and UX, giving you as much customization as possible inside of this mobile application. This is some of our core team. We have Marco, myself, and Tim Allard. I lead all of the BD side of things. Marco is our CEO and product director. Tim is our CTO. Marco is actually also on the call as well. So if you want to ask him any other questions, more than happy to help answer them. So yeah, jumping into some of the things that we are looking to solve. So they are around scalability, usability, security, and onboarding. When it comes to scalability, this has obviously been a big problem around Ethereum. With the technology that we are using, we're actually building around ZK rollups. We were the first wallet natively supporting ZK rollups. This actually enables for instant transactions. As Ethereum scales with sharding over the next couple of years, it will actually enable for over 100,000 transactions per second. Currently, it's about 2,000. All of these transactions are able to be secured by Ethereum mainnet. When it comes to usability, we enable for keyless security, and we are very much focused around UI UX. So we are making it very easy for absolute noobs to essentially be onboarded into the ecosystem. When it comes to security, the app, as I've mentioned, it is fully non-custodial, and as a user, you're able to stay fully pseudo-anonymous if you choose. And when it comes to the actual onboarding experience, we are giving people as much preference based off of their experience, so they can have as much customization as possible inside of the actual application. And when it comes to the market opportunity, as everybody knows, the DeFi ecosystem has grown quite exponentially over the last couple of years. The layer 2 market is still fairly new, but currently going through this exponential growth phase. We're obviously quite bullish on the ecosystems that are being built there. And there's not really that much wallet support that's focused on that, just because it's a little bit more difficult to build in those ecosystems. So we're very much focused around that and building in the support for those teams and those users that are interacting with it. And so jumping into Numio, as I mentioned, Numio is actually the first wallet to natively support ZK rollups. We were actually the first on ZK Sync. And even Vitalik has said that rollups are essentially, they are the solution to helping to scale Ethereum. So really happy to be helping to support the entire Ethereum ecosystem there. And inside the application, you're able to save up to 100x when it comes to peer-to-peer transactions and different types of token swaps. We actually are able to support all of the trading pairs on ZK Sync currently. We're one of, I think, 2 wallets that allow for you to trade on top of ZK Sync. Inside of the application, you're able to manage your NFTs, and you're even able to top up and purchase crypto directly inside of your wallet. We were the first wallet to work with MoonPay to allow for direct fiat on-ramps onto ZK Sync. Currently speaking with a few others about how we can essentially meet some of our development roadmap, because we want to make sure as we're onboarding into different types of layer 2s that the fiat gateways are able to support those as well, because that's obviously a very important aspect of it. Inside of the application, you're able to take out loans, essentially deposit into lending markets, yield aggregators, things like that, and even repay your loans using DeFi. We are actually in the process of going live with community testing for our DeFi dashboard right now. So if you want to go and check that out and sign up, you are more than welcome to. I believe we're going to be starting to kick that off this week. So really excited about that. You'll also be able to pool your tokens into different types of automated market makers. We enable for optional identity management, and you can essentially go and explore the market for your next trade, giving you lots of analytics directly inside of the app. We're going to be pulling that from the Lunar Crush API, so you can get a better idea of essentially what's going on in the market. When it comes to our go-to-market strategy, our main focus is on development integrations with different types of partners, and really honing in on the ones that we already have and building our relationship with those teams and those communities that are associated with those organizations. And since day one, we've been very much focused around educational content, whether that be written or video content. Highly recommend going and checking out our blog. I also help create some video content for our team with our TikTok channel. We've gotten millions of impressions there. So if any of you are listening and your teams aren't doing something around TikTok, 10 out of 10 recommend it. It's great for organic growth. And working with a lot of teams as they essentially come into the layer 2 space, whether that be launching, enabling for DeFi, enabling for their tokens to be traded, allows for us to do a lot of different types of co-marketing opportunities. And one of the really cool things that we're excited about later this year is how we can utilize NFTs for gamification. I'll actually be showing a short little demo at the very end on how we're able to do that, but leveraging sort of this gamification side of things to get people engaged, refer their friends, and building out an exciting community to do different types of daily, weekly, monthly tasks and things like that directly inside the application. And for things that we would like to consider short-term wins, collaborating with content creators and doing different types of paid ads and things like that. And when it comes to actually generating fees or generating revenue, there's a few ways that we can do that. Buying and selling of crypto, so people directly trading inside of the application, people who are buying and selling between fiat, as well as different types of B2B partnerships from different types of yield aggregators or staking providers, whether that's like Yearn, Stakewise, Lido. We're able to essentially earn a share on performance fees from those types of deposits. These are some of our projections.
3 more minutes.
Cost projections. When it comes to some of our metrics, right now we actually have about 3,000 monthly active users. I don't know the updated number in terms of how many accounts have used keyless recovery, but we've got a few thousand people doing that. A nice chunk of people who have done this optional identity verification process, and we are now over 17,000 downloads on the application. All those users have been entirely organic, so really excited to sort of beef that up a little bit and doing some paid ads. These are some of the partners that we are working with. This is what our development roadmap looks like. We've been building out support for Polygon and for Starknet. Really excited for that to go live with what we're calling our multi-layer API, which will allow us to build in support for additional layer 2s and potentially layer 1s in the future. We are in the process of going live with our DeFi dashboard and going to be going live with support for NFTs on ZK Sync, I believe later this week. So really excited for that to go live. These are some of our investment goals. We are looking to raise $2 million for 8% in equity. So it's a 25 post money or 25 mil post money. And as a part of the investment, there is a token warrant as a part of it. We are investing using a safe, and that does include a token warrant if one is launched in the future. And yeah, so that's all I have for the deck. I do want to give a quick run through of a Figma link if I have enough time.
You have 30 seconds.
All right, perfect. So this is the Numio application. If you download it, this is essentially what it will look like. I'm going to skip the onboarding experience so you can jump in and see what it looks like for yourself. So this is the actual application. You have a carousel of all of your wallets. You can top up your account, send, receive, trade your crypto. We have our DeFi dashboard, so you can essentially deposit into different types of markets generating yield on your capital. You can take out loans on your capital and repay your loans all in the same interface. We're going live with the V1 of this in the next couple weeks. You can go and explore the market, get an idea of what's going on with other tokens in the ecosystem. We're going to be using Lunar Crush for some of this data. We have our NFT side of things. The NFT marketplace is not live just yet. You are able to go and manage your own NFTs though. We are going to be enabling for support for NFTs on ZK Sync within the next week. So super excited about that. We're going to be the first interface to allow you to mint NFTs there. And then this is our gamification screen. So you can go and essentially be rewarded for being engaged with the application, making trades, owning and trading NFTs, interacting with different types of networks. So making things a little bit more fun. So yeah, that's Numio. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and congratulations for the live partnership with ZK Sync. I hope everything will go well.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, so I have some attentions from the panelists first. And first I have Maria from Republic Crypto.
Hey, Mark, thanks for the presentation. So it's very exciting that you're building wallets because it's considered like a key infrastructure or like a tooling to onboard like the next wave of crypto users. And you mentioned in one of your stats that like over 50 million Americans are expected to buy crypto. I am curious, given in the space right now, the most popular wallets for new users are Coinbase, MetaMask, and Trust Wallet for mobile, to name a few. If these competitors decide to create something very similar to what you guys are building for layer 2 mobile wallets, what differentiates you guys from the market? And why would users choose Numio over like a Coinbase wallet?
Sure. So a lot of the, I would say like some of the larger players, the ones that you've named specifically, they aren't necessarily focused on the actual in-app experience or the actual onboarding experience. I take that back. I know Trust Wallet is doing some support for keyless security, but not necessarily for some of the others. But when it comes to the actual in-app experience, that is really where we're looking to shine. So building in these functionalities natively inside of the application, so people don't actually have to leave the wallet. So when you're using Trust Wallet, when you're using MetaMask or Coinbase Wallet, when you want to interact with DeFi, when you want to interact with NFTs, for the most part, you have to leave the application. You have to use Wallet Connect. You have to use like iView frames and things like that. Where that's not necessarily the approach that we are looking to take. We are looking to build these experiences natively inside of the application. So like when it comes to DeFi, you can do all of these things directly inside of the application, and you don't have to essentially go to other websites, other wallets to do that. If you are an existing user, if you do have like a MetaMask wallet, Trust Wallet, or Coinbase wallet, you can go and import your wallet if you want. That is entirely up to you. Our goal is really to just build the best interface and best experience for those users. If they want to go and use another wallet that gives them a better experience, they're more than welcome to. Our focus is really just on that onboarding and in-app experience.
Got it. That's helpful. And I guess like a follow-up question, because you said that you're very focused on the onboarding experience. Could you talk a little bit more about like your user acquisition strategy, both on like the crypto and non-crypto natives? I know before you mentioned like TikTok and educational materials. I mean, to be quite honest, like Coinbase is also doing educational materials. So like keen to hear a little bit more about like how you guys are thinking about it too.
Sure. So when it comes to like teams that are currently building in the space, there are different ways that we can collaborate, whether it's doing different types of AMAs, writing content about those different types of projects. We've been doing something every week for the last like 2 or 3 months. It's called L2 on Air, where we bring on different types of teams that are currently building around ZK Sync, bringing on their teams to essentially invite their communities, our community, to come in, listen, learn more about who these teams are, essentially what they're doing. That's, I guess, one example. Other things that we've been able to do quite successfully. Obviously, TikTok has gotten us into a very different audience than I would say like the crypto native user, just because there's a very wide variety of people that we get on there. Majority of them are absolute noobs, which is great. Many of the people that have downloaded the app through TikTok, they have never used crypto before or used like a crypto wallet before. So this is their first experience. And when it comes to really getting out of like the crypto native niche, we really want to sort of leverage what we're doing around, I would say, like word of mouth growth, what we're doing with our gamification screen. So essentially rewarding people for interacting inside of the app, referring their friends, and then working with different types of KOLs and content creators for some of these, like I would say, like short-term wins to expand our reach a little bit more there. Yeah, I think that sort of summarizes that for the most part.
Awesome. Promise this is the last question, so everyone else can ask their questions too. Are you like, is there any geographical like regions that you're targeting? Because I think for the most part, you mentioned like in your data points, like Americans, like, are you guys looking for like LATAM, Asia, like where are you guys like focused on?
So at the moment, we don't have like a specific focus on just any individual geographic. When it comes to the geographics that we currently have for our users, Americans are definitely up there. US is, I believe, our #1 country. And some of the other top 5 is Canada, England, Turkey, and I believe Nigeria is as well. So those are some of the major regions that are using the app.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope all of these has been answered the Maria's question. And I have another one from Kenny.
Yes. Thank you, Mark. Basically, your answers to Marina's question has also kind of answered my question as well. Maybe just want to ask about, basically you said for this round, it will be equity run with a warrant to convert to the tokens, right? Just wondering, do you have like more details on your tokenomics and also token utilities?
At the moment, that hasn't officially been fleshed out. That's something that we're working on. We're going to be working on that over the next 6 to 12 months. We want to work with our investors around that. When that time does come, that it can be as successful as possible. No specific details on that currently.
I see. Okay. Yeah, no more question from my side.
Thank you. I'm sure later on when you have a more clear plan, you will be able to share with all the audience.
Of course.
Thank you. And I have another one from Matthew from Falcon X.
Hey, Mark, thanks so much. Really appreciate that presentation. First question that I have is, can you provide more details on the cross-chain bridge support? A big focus in crypto over the past couple months have been the large bridge hacks. How are you protecting yourself and your users when they engage with bridging?
Sure. So we aren't building the bridges ourselves. We're looking at a few teams to work with around that right now. Right now, when you are interacting with the internal transfer button, which is right here, so you can basically transfer between layer 1 and layer 2 and vice versa. You are doing essentially what's known as a trustless bridge. You're directly interacting with a smart contract, in this case with ZK Sync. We are looking at a few organizations to work with for that. We would prefer to work with the aggregators, which I would say the 2 leading ones are Li-Fi and Socket. The one that we're looking at the moment for a near-term integration would be Orbiter. Orbiter is probably been the leading team when it comes to building out support for a lot of these layer 2 systems, or at least bridge support for it. Some of the things that we can do as an application to help protect our users, even though they wouldn't be acting as LPs for these bridges, some of the things that you can do that are acting as general protection when interacting with a smart contract is having limits for your approval contract. So let's say, for example, if you're not familiar with it, when you're going and interacting, let's say with Uniswap, you can basically say you're only able to spend a certain amount of tokens that you're trying to trade. If you're doing that with a bridge, you can essentially do the same thing, where you can say you're only able to spend a certain amount of assets every time you bridge. So those are just, I would say, like general practices that you can do to help protect users in general. Right now, that's not possible on ZK Sync just because they don't have support for smart contracts yet. That does come with ZK Sync 2.0. So obviously we're quite excited about that. So as they're getting ready for their launch.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. And then one more question on my side. Great to hear about your partnerships. Really impressive with all the partners that you've already onboarded and have had discussions with. Question kind of thinking about the future growth and expansion plan. Do you have an SDK? Like, how easy is it for developers to integrate their products to your platform?
Sure. So right now, it actually would be done in-house. So we would be doing these native integrations ourselves. One of the things that we are very excited about, we haven't really talked about it publicly yet, is what we're calling our multi-layer API. We are planning to fully open source this because we've been getting a lot of demand from different types of roll-up teams and even now some layer 1 teams to essentially have their ecosystems natively supported inside of the application. To date, it's been us building all of this support in-house. So we're going to be open sourcing this backend API that we've been developing. So we're externalizing everything that you do in the app, whether that's around DeFi, NFTs, interacting with this actual infrastructure. So people are going to be able to not only build in support for like native rollups or native L1s, they will be able to do the same thing for DeFi and NFTs. So if they build in that backend capabilities, we can very easily build in the front end mechanics for that. And so then it can be natively supported in the app. So as we're building in support for some of these layer 2s, if you are like a DeFi project, we can then we can obviously work with you and help support your protocol and your users to have them a way to seamlessly interact with their whatever they're building. So that's sort of what we're looking to do there.
Super helpful. Thanks for that. No further questions.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Matt. For the next one, I have Nawarat and I have the CEO Randy here with us. So Nawarat is a decentralized appraisal of protocols as the which can serve as an oracle as well, providing objective, safe, and real-time price data for NFT financial market. Welcome.
Right, thank you. So I'm Randy, and I'm the co-founder for Nawarat. I'm very happy and honored to be here to give this introduction. So without further ado, I'm just going to quickly go over. So we see the main problem and limitation liquidity of NFTs is a really important bottleneck restricting the current development of the NFT market. So we can see right now that the liquidity is concentrated around the floor price, which most protocols are now using as their NFT valuation. But this really neglects the true implicit value for NFTs, which all leads to very low capital efficiency. Well, and users can't really reasonably buy or sell NFTs or even collateralize their NFTs to borrow and lending purposes, since the true values aren't really reflected. So we see the key question to solving the liquidity issue associated with NFTs is actually how to value them. It all comes down to price discovery. When NFTs have reasonable and continuous valuation support, the above problems can be solved. So Nawarat has some key features which we've listed out here. First, we're non-custodial, which means all the features of the underlying assets can always be accessible. Nawarat is also real-time, meaning that users can see the valuation results anytime, making it highly efficient. We also provide accurate valuation results, details of which I'll go over in the slides to come. And we can also be easily adopted by NFT projects, which means basically anyone can initiate a pricing session for NFTs. Next slide. So how Nawarat works can be understood or be broken down to 3 simple steps. First is to create a pricing session. So the inquirer, who can be both an individual or NFT-fi protocol, can query the price of NFT of their choice. So for instance, Bored Apes or any other NFT of their choice. After the pricing session is created, users can then price the NFTs through appraising nodes. The second step will be bidding. Other users on the web can then start to participate in the bidding process. Through pricing models based on shutting point game theory, users then price the NFTs in multiple rounds. The resulting data will then formulate a normal distribution outcome, which I'll go over later too. And then we can pinpoint the specific valuation for this NFT. So another question to be asked is, to be answered is, why would users do this, right? So first, users will need to stake ETH to Nawarat. Then to reward and encourage users to bid more accurate prices, we reward these users by sharing the protocol's income. And conversely, we also punish the users who propose bids that are way off. So when an NFT finishes the current round of appraisal, it'll be automatically entered into the next round, and then users can continue to appraise it. So the last step will be settlement. When someone initiates a real-time query, the settlement is then triggered. If no one initiates a query, then the current round of the valuation will continue until the maximum time of the current round, which is 48 hours. And then the protocol will automatically trigger the settlement process. Next slide. We also introduced reference price list to users, which is the aggregation of AI prices. The stats will not only assist the users to narrow the valuation range down, which is also the key in building the implicit shutting point. The bounded valuation range will then be narrowed down to a range that users usually refer to, making the valuation more accurate. Having these reference points really act as a guided valuation range that is the most important step for Nawarat's valuation to become very meaningful and useful. We think that the NFT valuation is actually a process of forming consensus, and groups of voting bids are actually a sample of the overall price consensus. According to the theorem of large numbers and samples obtained, we will obtain an NFT valuation that conforms to the public view, which is deemed as an effective valuation. Okay, next slide, please. So we run a VE token model, and VE token will then be used to govern the protocol. Users and appraisal nodes can stake VE tokens and can get access to NFT appraisals and bidding. And staked VE token amount is also proportionate to the weight factor, which affects the reward and the final appraisal of each round. Okay, next slide. So to sum it up, our business model is comprised of 3 main parts. The protocol, which is mentioned earlier, which involves bidding fees and commissions for inquiring the latest appraisal, and few product extensions for derivatives built on the bidding system, and also including the public comments for more active user engagement. And finally, we also have advertisement for NFT collections and recommendations and ad stations and banner posters, etc. Next slide, please. In comparison with the other competitors in the market, Nawarat uses and provides the AI model and user appraisal solutions, which is on-chain and highly efficient since it's real-time. Other types of solution offerings in the market include fragmentation and AI model, but these are either off-chain or have low efficiency since they're not real-time. So users can't be guaranteed access of the underlying asset. Next slide, please. So here's a brief of our roadmap. For this quarter, we finished the protocol test, and by next quarter, we will finish the economic model validation and issuance of test tokens. And we will launch mainnet and API by early next year. And by second quarter next year, we will finish the application layer function extension, and we will also introduce the node valuation. Okay, next slide, please. So here's just some demo and screenshots from our protocol, from creating the pricing session to bidding to finalizing the proposal and settlement. So we really encourage everyone to call Nawarat and try it out yourselves. And we will also have a built-in widget across Web3, and this will be our main adoption strategy as well. Okay, next slide, please. So for team member backgrounds, I'm the CEO and co-founder for Nawarat, and I have over 8 years of experience in internet and Web3 space. So before joining Nawarat, I was at Meituan and a few other investment banking firms. And Jerry, who's our CTO, he also has over 8 years of experience in internet and Web3 space. Before joining Nawarat, he was the founder of 45 Thing and also a key member of Meituan as well. And Book, who's our COO, have over 10 years of experience in marketing and operation management. And before joining Nawarat, he was a key member at Durex Adventure and Link Crypto Exchange. And yeah, I think that's all for our presentation. We'll now have a Q&A session, I believe.
Yes, you will have the Q&A session. We actually have some interest from our panelists. The first, I get Jimmy from Cipholio.
All right, yeah, thank you, Randy. Yeah, great presentation. So my first question would be, how could Nawarat ensure user participation in the group game, as you mentioned in the slides?
Right. So although individuals will have gain and losses in the game, but in general, this is a positive sum game. And positive sum come from two aspects. On one hand, user will stake certain ETH to participate, and the staked ETH will be placed into liquidity pool. On the other hand, the protocol will also allocate rewards to the participant with more precise valuation biddings. So on both ends, users are encouraged or willing to participate. So this is opposed to zero-sum game, this is a positive sum game.
Got it. Okay, let's imagine. So will the price of Nawarat be manipulated? Or will there be a situation, for example, like a user like forges a large number of addresses like to manipulate the price? So how can we solve this type of issue?
Right. That's a really good question. So this is a typical majority attack problem. We have taken many preventive measures. So first of all, it's very difficult to achieve an absolute majority and control in the network. You can only achieve relative majority and control in one round of pricing. But the process of achieving relative majority and control in itself is a game process. So although we admit this kind of attack is very risky, that's why we also have a T+2 review strategy. We use a decentralized approach to review abnormal evaluation values. And when an abnormal evaluation value come up, it'll be considered invalid. I hope that answered your question.
Got it, got it. Cool, I think that should be all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Victoria, would you like to?
Oh, I think maybe her computer froze. Oh.
Randy, hi, this is Kenny. Maybe I just have a question from my end. So basically just wondering, what will be your strategy to attract the users to become the validator or the verifier in your ecosystem to operate the platform?
So you mean for the appraisal nodes, right?
Yes.
Right. Actually, okay, it's fine. There was a slide on it. So we have a delegation. So yeah, this is actually we got the essence from the proof of stake mechanism. So to lower the users to participate, we delegate the governance right by staking tokens and certain nodes in the network. So basically, it could be either a protocol or NFT5 protocol. And so basically, the delegates or stake credits will become bidding bridge that maintains the network. And specific nodes and the specifics on the nodes has not really been designed yet, but we aim to have the delegation mechanism in place.
Okay, got it. And maybe my second question is, what will be your potential go-to-market strategy to actually capture more users?
Right. We actually have a lot of very active marketing campaigns and operations with a lot of NFT marketplace. So for example, 4.3 and also Mint Space and also ATA. So we actually have a lot of active events going on, and we'll launch more active events in the future as well. So feel free to follow us on Twitter or on Medium. We'll post a lot of those events on there.
I see. Okay, thank you so much for the answer. Maybe Victoria or Jimmy, yeah, go back to you guys.
Thank you. And I think Bella was also have some questions want to ask. Has she get a chance?
Sorry,
Okay.
I haven't asked yet. Thanks for the presentation. And question is, So you mentioned at the very early, you probably won't have like a much user for you to, I guess, analyze if the price that user gave or proposed is valid. So like, what's the mechanism at the beginning if there are only few user, how you can make sure the price that user input is accurate?
Right. So participants are positively related to the price accuracy. When we provide the price, we also provide the number of participants and the total amount of staking as a reference for the bidders. But we actually encourage the inquirer to increase the rewards associated with bidding. So this is not only to obtain a more accurate price, but also to attract more inquiring users to participate and evaluate. So we actually encourage the inquirer to increase the bonus basically to attract more users into the protocol.
Makes sense. That's all my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Okay, and we do have one question from the chat box. So could you also elaborate more on the different roles in the protocol?
Right. So basically there are two roles in the protocol, main roles. First is an inquirer. So an inquirer could be any person. It could be an individual or an NFT5 protocol who wish to inquiry or hold or just interested in an NFT price, or maybe to hold in the future for lending or borrowing purposes. So the inquirer basically could be anyone. And for the second role in the protocol will be the participant, which is the valuation nodes. The valuation nodes could be a group of evaluation experts to provide the accurate proposal for Nawarat protocol. And so we offer positive rewards to more accurate evaluation nodes and give certain penalties to widely skewed evaluation nodes. So these are the two main participants in the protocol.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Randy, and for bringing this amazing product. And also thank you all the panelists and the participants to bring all these amazing questions. So let's jump to the next ones.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. And for the coming next, I have Karat. So I have Rudy Rome, the founder and CEO of Karat. So Karat is leveraging the priorities on chain index infrastructures and Web2 behaviors tracking browser extensions to build the most precious user behavior tagging and the conversation tools. Rudy.
Hey everyone, thank you for the intro. So basically I started doing blockchain gaming since 2017 and I kept asking myself, so what's the points that makes Web3 products superior to Web2 products, right? So eventually the answer became that it's only the Web3 products are open to give the ownership back to its users, especially the data ownership. So now the question becomes, how do we utilize the vast network of on-chain data? And that's where Karat comes in. So basically we help you translate all these on-chain data into tags and criteria you can actually use. And basically we're building the Google Ads in Web3. So in the traditional ad industry, it's basically a black box, right? So you send $1 million to Google, you basically have to trust Google or any agency you're working with that they're giving you the high quality users that you ask for. However, there is no way to verify that because they can give you the so-called gaming users, but you have no way to prove that, okay, have they actually paid or played any games before? Also, the trust issue is bigger than you saw because with platform like Google, you're sending your money, you're sending your ads link into Google, but Google is not promoting it yourself, most likely. They're sending the link to their own ad mob system. So it's compiled with millions of different websites, right, participating in Google Ads. And there are tons of click frauds and ad frauds happening every year, and more than 200 millions were settled on the surface, and there are more underneath. So yeah, with Web3 marketing, it's even harder these days because most of the marketing tools here are task-oriented, right? So with Product Galaxy or Premium, a lot of these platform, Twitter scan, a lot of platform out there, it's good for pump up your numbers, but because they're so task-oriented, so it ends up being a small group of bots or users that just clicking through, all the checkbox of each campaign. So the conversion rate is a lot lower to what you desire to be. Also, the user quality cannot be justified. Next slides. So what Karat does is that instead of facing everyone, after you connect your smart contract, we're going to analyze all the current users you have, and with the tags or any criteria you set yourself, we're going to help you recommend different user groups based on the on-chain and the off-chain credentials of your current users, or whatever criteria you set yourself. And then you're putting all your budget into the same smart contract. And then it generates into a campaign. So basically the whole process is totally secured. It really is using the blockchain technology and smart contract technology to solve the verifiable issue, also the trustless issue, right? So basically with this, you don't have to trust anyone. You don't have to trust agency. You don't have to trust me or Google. All your budgets is perfectly protected by the smart contract, because only when the verifiable user that fits all your criteria, fits all your track record, right? So if you want people who play similar games in the last 6 months, who have been paid over $1,000 or have been like certain trading volume in certain platform, you can put all the criteria there, and only the people who fit your criteria can enter the smart contract, and then your CPA budget will be deducted. So basically, it's really, it significantly lowers the trust barrier for doing any marketing campaigns. Now you don't have to really think about, okay, what's going to happen. It's more like, if nothing happens, worst case scenario, you're going to get your money back at any time, because it's permissionless contract. You can cancel and withdraw at any time. Or if it happens, you're only paying for the qualified users that have done similar on-chain transactions or off-chain transactions in the past. So it's always a win-win. Next slides. Besides all the on-chain credentials we aggregate, we also have our browser extension, which tracks all your Web2 behaviors. So it kind of serves as a bridge between the Web2 and Web3 credentials. So basically, we track all what game you play, what shopping records you play. Also, the extension work with an ads tool in between Web3 and Web2 spaces as well. So you will get notification whenever you are in part of the campaign. Also, the notification will be shown with any of our partner sites. So we're talking to Cointelegram, CoinMarketCap, Yahoo Finance. So all these sites, when you browse through them, if your Web2 identity and because we know your Web2 and Web3 identity, so if you were ever included in any ads campaigns, then if you're browsing Yahoo Finance, they will pop up the ads as well for whatever campaigns are included with. So instead of relying on just traditional Web2 data and credentials, we're bridging the two and really show the ads on both sides through our wallet extension and through our partners Web2 sites as well. So besides the traditional popping ads, CPI, CPA campaign, we also leveraging on our socialify marketing. So besides the 25,000 current registered user with our Karat ID and notification system set up, we also have work with over 55 KOLs, which cover different spaces. And how it works is that every time you put you're pushing your ads budget, it generates a campaign, they will get notified, right? So they will see what's happening. Okay, so if this campaign is a game, it's a gambling game, it's targeting gaming user, play to earn user, and the CPA, cost per acquisition, anyone who fits that criteria is $50, for example. Then, like the KOL will be, okay, do I know these people that fit the criteria? Is the product good? And is the budget, does the budget make sense, right? So it really depends on all three factors. So if it's like you're targeting all Bored Ape or CryptoPunk user, obviously you need a higher budget because they're harder to reach compared to if you're just targeting everyone, have over 2 ETH, then it's really easy to use. So next slides. So then when they really choose to share it, then they will get incentivized and split out the pots of your budget. But from the client standpoint, you're only paying for the qualified users, so you don't really care what's going on behind the scene. But so basically, when the KOL really decided to participate in the campaign, they will split up the budget, and that's our Karat Ambassador program. Basically, to be a KOL, which get multi-layer rewards, you will need to stake some of our token, which we can talk more later. But that's, yeah, in general, that's what it is. We also have different ways of rewarding programs from like you need to, for example, another community pods we start with is that for you to get a campaign started, you also need to have at least 4 people in your team within 24 hours, and a lot of different ways for community marketing gamification system we set up. Next slides. Besides the Karat ads, right? So our infrastructure is one of the few infrastructure online that is a distributed computing network that's real-time query. So we are able to aggregate different data, different credentials, different tags across different chains in real time. Next slide. So as we can see, what I introduced you a couple minutes ago was Karat ads. So basically, it's a totally next generation referral bonus contracts, and it mainly works for CPA conversion. And we, at the same time, we also have the Karat Pro, which is similar to Nansen, but it's more on the data analytics side and is more on the tagging side. So we also allow clients work with us on acquiring data on their users. Basically, for example, if you want to learn what other games or what other NFT projects your current users are participating, or for your target demographics, right? Besides DeFi, what other activities or whatever DApps they're using, there are different ways to looking into them, and it all can be accomplished through our Karat Pro program. Also with our Karat ID extension, as I was mentioning, potentially it could be integrated by any Web3 or Web2 website. So the key benefits of integrating Karat ID system is that you're going to be able to know your user better, because we are helping you bridging the Web2 and Web3 identity for all your users. So you're going to be able to gain all the tags. Also, you're going to be able to make money through whatever campaigns that came across your user that is happening to targeting them. And also it collects a cookie that we share with you as well. So we will say it's the next generation Web2, Web3 Google Analytics. Next slides.
We are pretty much around the time, so please wrap
So
it up.
these are some current partners. Next slides. We had a lot of great case studies. So basically we launched a month scale. So it's throughout the time it's been bear market, but we have seen significant growth and conversion for a lot of our paying users, and we've generated healthy revenue. Next slides. Big market. Next slides. So yeah, we launched right now, it's over 30 days. So around 50 days ago for our beta launch, we currently have over 250,000 registered users with our Karat ID. Our daily active is around 3,000. We started making revenue 2 weeks ago, and it's been pretty good. Yeah, that's it. And thank you guys. It's a pretty long, but we don't have to go over everything.
Thank you, Rudy.
Yeah.
And we do have some questions from the panelists. And the first we have Maria from Republic Crypto.
Hey, thank you for the presentation. So I guess my first question is, currently most user behavior can be tracked on Web2, such as like Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, with some like Web3 data that can be viewed publicly on chain. So there currently are projects building infrastructure and products where users will eventually own their own data. So in the future, when users are able to own their own data and select who they want to sell their data with in Web3, how would this impact your business model and the product that you're developing?
So that's exactly what we are trying to do as well, right? So all the data we collected or we help the user collected, they are going to be they own that and they earn a piece of that, right? So whenever if any ads clients they try to target them, they're going to get rewarded by even seeing the notification or claiming it. There are all reward systems set up for it, right? So if you can ever go to our token economy slides, you will see that we have a reward system set up. So yeah, we are a deep believer in that users supposed to own their data and getting rewarded for anyone to use their data.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit more about like your reward and mechanism, because I think there's a lot of projects that are doing very similar to what you're doing. Why would a user want to use your platform versus like a Snickerdoodle or another platform that does this type of work?
I think it's the whole user experience, right? So like basically you getting here is super easy. You get notified and you see that, okay, wow, it's there is a campaign going on, and like because I've been playing Steppen for the past year, now I can get like a free stuff, and by clicking the message or even viewing like what can I get rewarded, right? And then if I really participate in it, I get rewarded more. And if I became like a long-term user, that's another layer of reward. So there are different layers of reward going with it. It's really fun and it's really easy, and it's like a stressless experiences. So I don't think there is a reason to not use us. Regarding the others, I'm not sure which. I know a lot of people are saying they're doing it, but I don't see that many products out there that people can already try out and start playing with. So but yeah, I would say even if they exist and they're amazing products, then I don't think the users will need to be like choose one or the other. They can use all of them, because our products doesn't cost you much, and give you all the advantages.
Thank you for that. I think my next question, I know in the previous slide, you mentioned like clients and projects that ranged from, I think there was like some gaming, some wallets, some metaverse. I guess which client segments are you looking to target first, if any? Or are you targeting more of like a broad audience? And
I would say currently we are targeting gaming. Gaming projects is our biggest market, just because they are a little more diversified, and it's a bigger user face. And also we're working with most, I would say 70% of the community leaders or KOLs in our ecosystem are all gaming focused, just because my background is in gaming, my parents' background is in gaming. So there are a lot more resources there, and we see a better conversion rate, to be honest. So yeah, that's just in general what we are seeing with DeFi projects. They're all cool and stuff, but like it's a really competitive market, and most of the products are a little similar to some extent. So it's it's less attractive to users, I would say, depending on the like when we are talking about like expanding to the bigger user base, attracting more users from Web2 and Web3 together, right?
got it. Yeah, no, I agree with you in terms of the gaming and the onboarding of users. I guess like in terms of gaming, like there is a demand right now from a lot of projects on like one, converting like Web2 players into Web3, and two, like identifying like the most loyal fans. I guess we've like how do you like, I guess like what data metrics are you guys like tracking right now, and like what are data metrics that you guys are looking to track in the future?
So right now we're developing our CPA SDK. So for the action conversion, so that how do you define the conversion, right? Basically, I think that's what you were asking. So how do we track the conversions? Basically, right now we have different smart contract types for airdrop, for token NFT, or for like private sale, and we're also developing the SDK that you can embed your definition of action inside your own product. So if they have to, for example, they have to finish the first mission, they have to finish the tutorial, or whatever whatever way you want to define your like that as a conversion. But obviously the more complicated conversion mechanism, you need to put higher budget, and also it's less likely for for it to spread out because it's more complicated to understand. So but yeah, it's kind of like a take or give kind of situation.
Thank you, Maria. And we do have some questions from Kenny as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Rudy, for the introduction and walk us through the deck. I'm just wondering if you can maybe elaborate more on how would be your potential revenue model to generate like different kind of revenue stream from your existing business model.
Can we go to the revenue slides? weird. Okay, they didn't include in this version. Yeah, there's supposed to be a revenue slide. Basically, our revenue comes from the Karat ad service, which is mainly the native token revenue from the staking, from the rewarding system, from the client's payment, the fee, and also we from the our extension, the API payments. There is the USDC revenue, and also from our consulting services and our Karat Pro subscription, there is a USDC payment as well. And we actually have a whole animation chart, which is pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, I will share the deck with you after.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's all I want to ask. Go back to you,
Thank you, Kenny.
Victoria.
Thank you. And I think we have another one from Bella.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Question is, so I guess when a project or especially Web3 project involving a rewarding system, there will be like a cheating behavior from a user. I guess, is there any like a cheating behavior you can predict, and also how you gonna avoid it?
Very glad you asked. So that's exactly the stuff we're trying to avoid. That's also our key differentiator, is that because our smart contract is based on our query engine, right? So our query engine basically sets out the criteria for the user. So basically the user when you choose the criteria for your campaign, you kind of pick up your demographic, right? We will have like the easy recommendation. For example, it will be active addresses in the last 6 months. If you're a gaming user, gaming project, we will pick up similar gaming projects. Also, we'll recommend different user groups based on your current users. So for example, all your current users are like, they have different tags, right? So most of their tags they basically, for example, all hold Soulbound token of some platform, right? Then we will be like, okay, maybe we should like recommend a different user group that also holds the similar Soulbound token, right? So basically, it will all be real addresses with real credential and real on-chain history, track record. So we would assume they're not fake users, right? And you can set yourself, so you can set the bar higher or lower. That's kind of like we're pretty open because it's a permissionless platform. So you can play with our query engine, real-time indexing engine, anything you want. And the best part is that compared to the graph, which it would take you days to run query, with our engine, it only takes you seconds, right? So if you can type in karat.com right now, you can play with the beta version of our engine instantly, right? So like whatever easy criteria you put in, it come out instantly. And once you start launching your campaign, there will be more criteria and tags for you to choose from. And yeah, you can, it's really easy to try out.
Gotcha. Another question is, you also mentioned you will have some like off-chain data, I guess from Web2 world. Like how are you going to combine them and make use of it?
So basically, as soon as you download our browser extension, the Karat ID extension, we will be asking your permission to track your Web2 data through our cookies. So that kind of like, so all the Web2 data we collected, we will start sending you Soulbound token badges as credential, and all these credential and tags and Soulbound token credentials will be available for clients to choose from when they set up their criteria, as we were talking about, when you set up your party demographics.
Gotcha. That's all my question. Thanks for answering.
Thanks, Bella. Thanks, Rudy. So we do have one more, and I already put it live in the chat box. So Rudy, feel free to take a look and answer the questions. And coming next, this is going to be our last team, and the last but not the least. So we have Ludiverse. So I have Julian and also Bagdan from the both of the co-founders from the team. So Ludiverse is a Web3 social app where people can create and participate in the challenge and the content and to earn the rewards. So thank you so much, and you have the stage.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Hello, everyone. We are honored to present today. The Ludi used to be the games organized during the Roman Empire to entertain the Roman people, and that's where the name Ludiverse comes from. You can go to the next slide. So as Victoria mentioned, Ludiverse is a Web3 social app where people can create and participate in challenges and contests and earn rewards. You can go next. This is our story with Bogdan when we launched our first video contest app with 50,000 unique users the first months. We reached millions of people and we didn't invest anything in communication promotion. So we understood that people love playing, people love competition, and challenges and contests are very powerful marketing tool. And we're speaking now with big brands and with influencers, and they love what we do because they find it very relevant. For example, we're speaking with BMW about organizing a rally road treasure hunt for BMW motorcycle riders or for drivers of the Mini car. You can go next. The social media advertising market is huge. We're speaking about $150 billion, expecting to reach $250 billion by 2026. And the market is monopolized by a very big Web2 players. And also the social fi market is likely to experience a tremendous growth. And with Ludiverse, we'll be targeting mainly non-crypto users, and we will bring a lot of people to the ecosystem. You can go next. So we understood that challenges and contests are a very powerful marketing tool. But today, for brands and for influencers, there is no easy way to create challenges and contests and to offer rewards. And often it's quite costly. And also for brands, they experience a poor social media return on investment. You can go next. So that's why we bring a solution with Ludiverse. On Ludiverse, you can easily create challenges and contests in a few steps. So the phase one of our product is a social map, where every user has a single token wallet with a stable coin only. And so user can earn crypto by winning or creating challenges. They can keep up with friends. They can meet people based on mutual interest, and they can discover the content created during challenges because we understood that interactions between user is very important. Next. So speaking about the phase two of our product, we will have a lot of users on the Ludiverse map. So the map will develop into a kind of monopoly 3.0, where users will be able to purchase pieces of land on Ludiverse map and have an NFT in return. So the NFT will be the title deeds on Ludiverse map with a lot of utilities attached to it. They will be able to advertise in this particular location. Of course, they will be able to trade the NFT, to rent it out to other users if they want to use this particular location. They will be able to create meetups to boost sales, because one of our missions at Ludiverse is to make the bridge between the digital world and the real world. And of course, user will be able to display their NFT arts as well. Next. On Ludiverse, we have user-generated content. And one of our main challenge when you have user-generated content is the management of the content. And this is why we're building a DAO. And the Ludiverse token will play an important role in the decentralized governance of the platform. So the stakers of our token will have the right to vote on the content that will be promoted on the platform. Also, we will reward creators of challenges encouraging education, self-development, society improvement, and sustainability. And also the token will be the currency of the app. So it will be used for paid messages, for tips, for prizes, together with stablecoin, because we want to keep the stablecoin, which is important for big brands, which want to avoid the volatility during the prize, for a prize during a challenge. Next. So this is a very interesting case study. We're speaking with Adidas in South Africa. So imagine Adidas creating a running challenge where people have to run in a big city, let's say New York. People have to run as fast as possible from point A to point B. And Adidas is offering to the winners a $5,000 rewards. $5,000 is a lot of money for the people, right? So you would have thousands of participants. So the reach would be hundreds of thousands of people, which means for the brand, amazing visibility. It will engage their audience and of course, maximize their social media return on investment. And we can also drive the people to the store if they want to. I often compare it to a $5,000 invested on Instagram advertising. So what would the brand get with $5,000? They would get 5,000 visits because the average cost per click is $1. Plus they're dependent on Instagram algorithm. And for the user can make $5,000. We're not giving $5,000 to Meta here. It's for the user. And one of our missions at Ludiverse is to share the big money spent on advertising with the people. And plus it's a motivation for a healthy lifestyle. It can be for performance improvement and for real life interactions for the user. They're not only passive customer and consumers. Next. So the business model, how we make money. We take a 5% commission. So with the example with Adidas, we would take 5% commission on the top of the $5,000. We have a paid message feature. We have NFT sales, which are the title deeds on Ludiverse map that I explained before. And we will have advertising on the map and in the feed. Next. We do not have direct competitors, but when we speak about Ludiverse, we have to mention Pokemon Go, which was a success back in 2016 when they launched, because the user interface is very similar to Pokemon Go, but much more entertaining. Zenly, we can mention Zenly, which is a French startup, which was acquired by Snapchat in 2017. The acquisition amount was between $250 and $350 million. And OVR, over the reality, which dropped a lot of land NFT, which were quite popular. Next. So the roadmap, we've been working with Bogdan for more than a year on Ludiverse. We designed entirely the app, and I'll show you the prototype afterwards. We have all the team ready in Romania. I am French, Bogdan is French-Romanian. That's why we got the team in Romania. We've been discussing with big brands about concrete use cases. We designed a token economy. We joined recently Cipholio Venture Accelerator program, very insightful for us. We're very happy about it. We're planning to launch the phase 1 of our product in January next year, the beta, and the official launch in February. The phase 1 and the testnet launch will be in June next year. And the official mainnet launch and the token launch will be in the third quarters of next year. We're expecting to reach 1 million users by the end of 2023 and do our first NFT drop before the end of 2023. Next. So regarding the team, Bogdan, co-founder and CTO, has a lot of experience as a serial entrepreneur, more than 16 years of experience, 15 years working with startups, especially in the tech side. As mentioned, we have all the team in Romania with a very strong team, a lot of years of experience. And I've been working in emerging market for many years as well, more than 10 years, with 5 years spending in Africa, working in marketing and communication for big corporations and governments, and working also in management and finance before. Next. Yeah, regarding the advisor, we are working with 01X from Dubai and London, who have great experience in token design. Joachim, the founder, used to mine Bitcoin back in 2013 and is a former Goldman Sachs engineer. They designed the tokenomics for World Mobile, which was a successful launch on Cardano, for Paxport as well, or Moonray, that game. We're also working with Nico, who launched one of the biggest influencers agency in South Africa, because we're planning to launch in South Africa first and focus on Africa before going to the US and to Europe. You can go next. So we are now raising 1.5 million for our seed round in a mix of equity plus token warrant, with a 7.5 million post-money valuation. And I'd like to share my screen now and to show you the prototype of the app. Yeah, if that's possible.
I think we have 30 seconds left.
All right. So this is the main page of the app. So we are on the real world map. So we can see users. And this is the profile of the user with basic information, followers, the following, the challenge that the user participated. So it's a one picture profile. And we have, of course, as challenges here with Adidas, for example, as we're speaking with them. So basic information, the prize that can be earned, the rules of the challenge, and the ranking here based on time. We also have a photo and video feed, a TikTok style photo and video feed, because it's very important for every participant of challenge, they have to create content. And the content can be shared on existing media, such as TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, etc. So here it's very similar to TikTok. We can tip the user, for example, sending here 1 USDC, very easy. And yeah, that's it. We have also a chat with direct message feature. And this is the profile of the user. So very similar to the one I showed you before. And every user has a single token wallet. So very simple interface for the people who have never used crypto before. So at the beginning, only with stablecoin, so they can easily deposit or withdraw their crypto and transfer the money to their Visa or MasterCard or to another wallet if they wish to. So that's it. I'm happy to reply to any question. We're here with Bogdan, so if you have any point you want us to clarify, with pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you both for having this amazing presentation. So we definitely have some questions from the panelists. The first one will be Jacob from Galaxy.
Hey guys, appreciate the time and thanks for the presentation. So my first question is, I know you said there's a reward program where prizes that the user can earn. How are these rewards distributed, and are they guaranteed, or are they paid in advance, or are they just solely based on trust? Would you guys consider yourselves to be the rewards distribution part of the platform, or is it more so just for the project to distribute those rewards?
Thank you very much. Yeah, very good question. And this is the entire part of the DAO. So the community will decide whether to reward or not the creators of content. So when the user creates a challenge, he has to choose if he believes that his challenge is into those 4 categories. So education, self-development, society improvement, or sustainability. And then the community will confirm that the challenge is actually within those categories.
I see. So do they take payment in advance? How are the funds paid out? Were the rewards paid out?
Yes. So the reward is in token. It's a part of the circular economy. Regarding if you speak about the reward that the user is offering to the people, it's paid in advance, of course. So all the users, they are pretty sure that the money is here and it's on an escrow account during the time of the game. And this is also legally wise. It's very important to put it on an escrow account. Then we don't need any money service license in the US.
Understood. Awesome. My next question is, what is your approach to user growth? And, I know you said that you're going to be onboarding a lot of non-crypto users. They may be the majority of, of your customers, but how do you plan on educating them? I feel like, especially with the depositing USDC and being able to deposit funds into the platform is going to be, super important for them to know.
Yeah, so the fiat on-ramp and on-ramp will be very important for us. So on Ludiverse, you can easily deposit with your credit card. So you can buy USDC directly on the platform. We're planning to work with Fireblocks for the wallet infrastructure. So we will be custodian, which is much easier for the user, and we will integrate the wallet inside our user interface.
Great.
And as per the growth, we will do it as we already did it. We will do the growth using our own games and the brands and the influencer user base that will be brought to the platform.
So
awesome.
Yeah, when we did our first test, we got 50,000 unique users in 3.5 weeks, and we were actually surprised ourselves. And we will have 3 axes for the growth, as Bogdan say. So we will be creating our own challenges on the platform with prize money, which will be our marketing expenses. We will partner with influencers, and that's why we're partnering with one of the biggest agencies in South Africa. And we will be partnering with brands, and that's why we're speaking with Adidas, for example, and with other brands in South Africa that can create the content and initiate the traction when we launch.
Understood. Do you guys anticipate, needing another round of funding after raising the 1.5?
Yeah, the next round of funding will be purely in token. And we are planning the public sale in June next year.
Awesome. So my last question is, how did this whole, concept come about? Just curious to see how everything, was put together and how, this was, created.
Yeah, that's the story with Bogdan, actually. It was thanks to our first app that we launched together. We were designing a live video social network. And in order to promote this live video social network, we designed a video contest. And actually the user didn't really care about our live video network. They really cared about our contest. And we realized, wow, this is super powerful. And this is amazing. And this is something we really have to focus on. And that's how Ludiverse was created.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the time. I think that's all the questions for me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jake. And we do have some questions from Ty as well.
Yeah, I have one question I want to ask. So I want to know that because this kind of business model is similar, is actually can be achieved in the Web2 model. So I want to know that why do you want to use blockchain to leverage on your current apps?
So it's a very good question. So we are building on Web2, especially for the phase 1. We're plugging a crypto wallet to every user. And we do believe in the future of crypto. We do believe that, and we want to participate in bringing the next billion of users on Web3. And as I mentioned, one of the main challenges we will be facing is the management of the content. Because we have experience with Bogdan, and Bogdan in the past was working in managing TikTok content. And it's very challenging. It's a big issue. And that's why we do believe that the DAO is a perfect solution. And our token will play an important role in this ecosystem.
Okay, got it. And the second question, the following question is that I want to know that because you are designing the tokenomics, I want to know that what is the major utility for the token you're going to have and you're going to list on the exchange?
So yeah, just to before entering the details. So the main utility is related to the map. So as you saw on the demo, when we are creating the challenges are related to the map and to the real world map. So on the first phase, we will have an open map. And on a later phase, once we will drop the NFT, the users will have the capability to buy the pieces of land and use the pieces of land in order to create challenges or rent the pieces of land in order to create challenges in this space for the brand.
And yeah, to add that the token will fulfill a governance function mainly. So we will have an algorithmic governance on the platform. When the staker of our token will have the right to vote on the content that will be promoted. Plus, we have a reward mechanism for creators of challenges promoting the 4 category I mentioned before: education, sustainability, self-development, and society improvement. And also it will be used as the currency of the app. So at the beginning, we will be using only stablecoin. And as soon as we launch our token, the currency of the app will be in our token. So for a lot of features, such as the paid message, the tip, the user will have to use our token.
Okay, got it. All right. Yeah, that is all the question from us. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think Jimmy also want to ask as well.
Yeah, sure. Why Africa? Why you choose Africa as your first go-to market?
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. Well, first of all, I've been working in Africa for a few years, and I do believe there is an amazing potential in Africa. Big cities, Johannesburg is 14 million inhabitants, Lagos 23 million, Nairobi 10 million. There is a very strong crypto penetration, more than 20%, even more in Nigeria. There is a strong community of influencers and bloggers, and it will decrease our marketing expenses as well. And actually, we're not the only one. We believe that Africa is the future. Google invested $1 billion last year in Africa, mainly in Nigeria and South Africa.
Cool. Thank you.
And anybody else from the panelists have something to add? Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sorry, just one simple question. For your first 50,000 user, what's the user persona for them? Do you know why they come?
Well, that was pretty fun because actually the prize was a trip to New York. So we were offering a trip to New York. And at the end of the day, at the end of the contest, the winners, they didn't want to go to New York. They just wanted to win. So a few French influencers were fighting on the platform to win the contest because they want to be the first. And we ended up paying the equivalent of the trip to New York, but the trip to New York was just an excuse. And that was pretty amazing because they were attracting all of their followers from YouTube, from Facebook, from Instagram to join and to come to vote on our platform.
I see. Do you find any patterns within your 50,000 users? Like when it comes to your growth strategy, what kind of user are you thinking about attracting on your platform?
Regarding the user forecast, we believe that we will have 1 million users by the end of 2023. And we will reach a couple of million users. We have different kind of forecasts. For example, like we believe we can have by the end of year 3, 5 million users. By the end of year 5, we believe that we will have 15 million users.
So these users are registered user, or how do you define user in here?
Yes, so it's users that are actively using the platform. So as in the actual platforms, the users can consume the content, but in order to interact with the content, they will have to create an account, a real account, in order to vote or play or interact directly with the content.
Which is actually very similar to TikTok, and TikTok did an amazing job to grow their user base, and we will have the same strategy. So giving a minimum content available to the user to come and see, and if they want to interact, if they want to see more, they have to register. And I'm speaking here about registered user.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you. We're gonna wrapping this up. Thank you so much for staying with us for 2 hours-ish. And yeah, thank you to the team for bringing this amazing project. And I want to thank again for our amazing panelists and also our 6 amazing project team as well. And for put 2 hours together with all of us. And also special thank you, Jamie, and from Eric is from Cipholio teams, and also YF. He has been helping to bring all the questions to the panelists, align it with everything. So really appreciate our team to put such a good effort in our demo day. And I think Jimmy at the very end, could you also say something so we can close this up?
Sure. Thanks again for your time. I would truly appreciate you being here with us today, and I hope you're enjoying our events. If you are interested in connecting with any of those projects or want to share your feedback with us, please, we do have a QR code here. Feel free to scan it, and let's stay in touch. As Cipholio, we aim to be in a bridge connecting people, technology, and capital in a decentralized world. We will host our next demo day in November, so please stay tuned with us, and I will see you all next time. So we do have a link here. So I forgot to mention that we do have a survey link here. So let me share that with you. And yeah, that should be it.
Yes, the QR code up here, and feel free to submit the survey. And also, if anybody interested in any panelists in the future want to have a discussion or want to sign up for our next demo day, or want to know more about the 6th project, and please let us know and leave all the comments into the survey. And you can follow our Twitters and even email or find Jimmy. His Telegram is also put it up. And any questions, just feel free to ask us. And thank you again for spending time with us this morning. And I hope everyone will have a good rest of your day. And see you next time. Thank you.